Hello, this is Yvonne from JK Lifestyles with Yvonne. This is another session of It's On with Yvonne. What I wanted to talk to you about today is I don't know why my sons, or children think that they can keep secrets from mom. Now, my kids are grown. I don't want to know about your personal life. I don't want to know about, you know, real personal stuff. But in general, certain things you don't tell me, I find out anyway. I could tell when my kids, when they were in school, they never told me anything. And I told them, I said, I don't know why you don't tell me if you're doing something you're not supposed to do in school, because they're going to tell me anyway. I'm going to find out about it. I remember when their bedroom used to be next to mine. I used to hear them wrestling and I used to hear this boom, but after they'd be laughing. So I said, well, I don't have to go in there and investigate because they seem like they're doing fine. I don't hear any crying or anything. And here it is, like when I finally got the room painted, I had Mr. Maurice, we used to call Mr. Maurice, he used to come up and do work around the house or whatever. And so he went in there to paint their room. And then he called me in there. He said, I want you to see this. It was like they had knocked holes in the walls. I used to hear them bamming and wrestling and carrying on, but they would have posters up. And I used to wonder, I said, oh, that's a new poster. Oh, that's a nice poster. It never occurred to me that they were putting it up to hide the holes. And I think it was my older son. I think that was his idea to do that because I don't think my younger son was old enough to think of that at the time. So I had to get the holes patched up and the room painted. I know when my younger son moved out, just another example. I'm skipping around in the age, but I told him, I said, you should get AAA in case something happens to your car. Oh, mom, I don't need it. I'll be fine. And I said, no, I really think I insisted upon it, right? So then finally said, yeah, okay, okay. But the way he did it was like, I'm saying okay to shut you up, but I have other things to think about. So my mom antenna said, I don't think he's gonna get this AAA. So I got it for him. So, and I renewed it also. Well, guess what happens? He calls me, um, Mom, did you ever get that AAA? And about that time, I had so much on my mind because I was getting ready to move. I said, well, I don't know if I did. I would have sent you the email saying it. They said, well, okay. So he got off the phone and I said, well, let me look at my email. So I saw where I sent him the notice and I called him again and then he said, yeah, I found it, Mom. And I was like, well, thank God, that I sat there and got the AAA because I knew he would need it someday. Hope that he wouldn't, but just in case. Also, when my younger son graduated from high school, him and his friends decided to go to South Jersey down to the shore, and they would go down there, spend the night, and come back. A group of them, right? He didn't tell me because I guess he would have told. I guess he figured I would say, "No, don't go," which I probably would have said it. But then he told his sister, who sat there, and I was talking to her, and then so she told me he was down there. What happened? A day later, they're traveling back home. He calls me, Mom, I don't have any money, and we're just about on gas. We're just about out of gas. So I told him, I said, listen, you know, just try to make it home. If you really can't, then just call me and I'll come and I'll meet you someplace. But whatever the case is, whenever something happens, I'm the first person they call. Mom, more like mom, you know. and I do my best to help them get through it and resolve it. But I'm like, I've gone through some things, so I don't know the answer to everything, but I'll always do the best I can for you, for my sons. So that's all I wanted to say today. Goodbye. It's on with Yvonne. Yvonne from JK Lifestyles with Yvonne. Bye.